I have to tell you guys a secret. So we don't, of course, talk about any of this to our spokespersons before, but I did go and whisper in his ear that, is there anything you want to talk about? And he's like, no, I want to communicate. And I think that's the job of a spokesperson, is to sort of communicate. And so there's been a lot, that's been happening around you joining BJP and so on and so forth. Would you like to communicate that, first of all?
So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this platform, Anurag ji, and it's great to be here. And that question, is there any particular aspect that you would like me to speak more on? Like, could you elaborate more?
No, so just, because what I found was that you thought that people need to make a difference, especially people of our generation. And so you took some decisions. So would you like to talk about that more?
So when you speak on decisions, I assume that it was my decision to quit my former party and join the Bharatiya Janata Party. I assume that that's what you're asking about. So I would admit that the last few months had been very transformational for me. I resigned from the Congress Party in January of this year, and it was with a lot of conviction that I resigned at that point of time. I grew up in a Congress family. My father is still one of the senior-most members of the Congress. But the day I resigned, I did mention some very clear facts that I felt from the bottom of my heart. I did tell very clearly that the Congress Party over a period of time has changed quite a lot. And the party at this moment, the party sadly has transformed into an organization with the single purpose of forwarding the interest of a particular family and a person. And I felt that it is not something where I would fit in, and this is not what I meant to do. And then, when I resigned from the party, I did not have any intention to join somewhere else, etc. It is something I did because I was finally done with the organization. But then there were a lot of deliberations. On the 6th of April, I joined the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm very thankful to the leadership for giving me a platform where I could join the party on the party's 44th foundation day. And when I joined again, it was with a lot of conviction, because I truly think that here we have an organization that is led by a leader who is a generational leader, Prime Minister Modi ji, who has a long-term vision to take India forward, transform this country forward, and with a very noble intent to transform India into a developed country in the next 25 years. So this is an opportunity for every Indian to contribute towards that cause. And that contribution and what we are doing right now, it will be creating an impact for decades, for generations to come. So it's a great opportunity for every Indian, especially young Indians. You look at the country right now, we are a very young country, where our median age is 27. 65% of our population is under 40. Almost 30% is under 18. So when I joined the party, here we have a Prime Minister who is having a holistic vision to transform this young India into a developed country, an upper middle income country. And I do think that, and I do believe that I have certain skill sets. I have certain expertises. I have areas of interest, and I truly believe that with all this, I can contribute towards this great cause, which is much above what I am, where I could make an impact for this vision. So this is how I joined the party. It is to contribute towards this cause.
Right. And so, I mean, going forward, like you said, there are so many roles that all of us can sort of take up to sort of help the country forward. not just a party. It's something we do as people of a country. So would you like to elaborate a little more on where you think that, I mean, at least your direction will go, and how you hope to inspire other people to sort of, take up that mantle?
See, my roles, my responsibilities is determined by the organization. So I joined the party in April, and 6 weeks back I was made a national secretary of the party. It's an organizational role. And a few weeks afterwards, I was given an additional responsibility as a national spokesperson. So my roles are still being defined. But one thing which I have seen about the Bharatiya Janata Party, which I am very happy about, is that it is not an organization that is complacent of where we are. And we do not rest on our past laurels. We are a party with 303 Lok Sabha seats. We have 19 states along with our allies. But then I come from a part of India. I come from Kerala, where there are 20 Lok Sabha seats. There are 140 assembly seats. And in our organization's history, we have never won a Lok Sabha seat there. And that is where I come from. Similarly, we have 303 seats, but you look at South India, there are, I think, around 130 seats there. In Karnataka, we have 27 of those 28 seats, but the remaining 4 states where 100 plus MPs are there. At this moment, we only have 4 or 5 MPs there. So the organization do not rest on our laurels. We are not complacent, and we are aspirational, ambitious, where even in areas we are not strong, we have a short-term, medium-term, and long-term objectives and plans to keep growing in areas where we are not a strong presence yet. And I come from that part of India.
Right.
So for me, somebody like me, this is an opportunity to again contribute towards the party's growth and make a mark. And that is what I'm working on as my organizational role. Then I have an additional role as a spokesperson also. And here, yes, like I said, we are an organization that is led by a generational leader with a very clear objective to transform this country. And across different areas, we are making short-term, medium-term, and long-term policies to forward that. And it is my responsibility as a spokesperson right now to communicate that as effectively to any audience that I get, which is again something which I try to do.
Right. And speaking of audiences you might get, I think we have time for a couple of questions.
No, sorry, we don't.
No, we do.
Unfortunately, we do not have time for questions, so I think we'll move on to the concluding remarks.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to ask you, I asked this to Mr. Sheffield, what is the difference beyond what he said between how the media and the spokesperson wing of the BJP works and how Congress works?
So I would say that Javirji and Shastriyaji and all has a lot more experience working in both these departments, because when I was in the Congress, I was in the digital initiatives. I was not really in the media cell. But one thing I can tell very clearly in a holistic manner, in a broader perspective, is you look at the BJP and Congress right now. My organization, the Bharatiya Janata Party, we are not complacent, nor do we rest on our past laurels. We are aspirational, we are ambitious, and we continuously want to improve. And we have a leader who got a 25-year vision for the country. When I was in the Congress, I did mention something when I quit. And I did tell that at that point of time, the leader of the Congress party, while the Prime Minister got a vision for the next 25 years, I personally don't think that Mr. Gandhi got a vision for even 25 days. A lot of things that are happening inside the Congress is also because of that, where there are systems, there are processes, but at the same time, the party doesn't think long term. The party is still clinging on to a lot of legacies of the past, and it is trying to, more than working for national interest or public interest, the party, all its mechanisms, all its departments, everything is working for a single purpose, and that is to forward the interest of a family or a person. This is what the organization has become. So this is why in a lot of states, the Congress party is competitive. It is competitive because there are certain state leaders who are still deep-rooted in those places. There are tall leaders even now in the party. But the national leadership is very different. And this shows in the working of both the organizations. And the public also understands that. And this is one of the primary difference which translates across.